No, that you can definitely develop this faster. There definitely is a way you can focus on this in particular and learn it faster. Like 1,000,000%. It's like a mindset diff, and I don't know how to teach the mindset. And just because I don't know how to teach it doesn't mean it's not teachable. And it's like, this is the game everyone's playing in like Immortal 2 and up. And everyone below that rank is like completely oblivious to it, you know? And so it's this like huge divide. And the moment you can like visualize yourself in your opponent's shoes, you're this like, you're just a demon and you rank up infinite. So like, how can you learn that faster? I agree there's a minimum threshold of hours required, which I would probably put it around 300, which is why the requirement to get VOD reviewed when you're above gold is 300 hours. How do you develop that mindset? That's not a gajillion hours, because I have a gajillion hours in esports, not in Valorant, but in esports I do have effectively a gajillion hours. I think this is specifically targeted at like diamond ascendant players, by the way. Like if you're below that rank, you're honestly too bad at the game still. But like people who've got over 300 hours, they're in diamond, they're in ascendant, and they don't think this way, it's like their biggest fucking problem. Has this ever happened to you?
Defenders win.
We've all been there. But thanks to the generous members of the Knowers Club, not only can I help you get less of these,
Defenders win.
but you can even earn Valorant gift cards for successful improvement. All live on stream. Order now at discord.gg/woohoojin, or I'm taking the world to pipe. Don't try me. I'll do it. You're running more Swifts? Actually, I need to tell you about this. I want to make a video on this. It's an important drill that I realize people need to think about, but I don't know how to explain it
right here.
well. So essentially, when people are in, like imagine we're in a 1v1 and I know the enemy is like showers. Okay. The way that I watch like a Radiant player deal with that, like the way that they move around with their crosshair, and the way that I watch like a worse player deal with that is very painful. And I want to somehow create a drill that teaches you how to move the way that you're watching me move right now. Because it's not just about slicing the pie. It's not just about crosshair placement. It's about when I walk diagonally, how I'm not walking forward at any point, when I fast peek and when I shift peek. Like all of these things add up. Like I was watching, it was like Fang. And like in this scenario, Fang would like W. And W's no good here, of course, because if they peek, your head's not moving relative to them. And I was telling him that. I'm like, you should actually walk this way. Then you get closer, you can pull your gun back out. You can jiggle. Or like here, when I want to scale towards that corner, you'd walk towards this wall. Or you could peek along this wall this way, but you wouldn't walk forwards. And it's not just Fang who does this poorly. It's like everyone below, honestly, like Immortal 3. Different than the unbind W and deathmatch drill? Yes, because I will walk diagonally when I'm not peeking somebody. So look, when I'm here, I'm going to hold W and A to walk this way because it lets me scale closer to showers safely. I'm not peeking anything, so walking diagonally is totally fine. Like, I mean, you can walk with your knife out, of course. But the point is, like, they can't peek me because I'm unswinging it. Because I'm unswinging that angle, like, the diagonal movement's fine. And then I'm back to strafing as I'm peeking here. So it's like, how do I teach people how to practice that? Because it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. Nobody's good at it until they've got, like, a gajillion hours. Like, how do we expedite that process? The way I was running this drill with Fang is I had him in a call with me. And I'd be walking around the map and he would just say a location. And the moment he said that location, I would switch and assume that that was the threat as fast as possible. And then I'd continue moving around very cleanly like this. So that much should make sense. So I think what I'm going to do is I can make a website that does that. You pick a map and the website every like 15 seconds will randomly say one of the callouts on that map. You put that in your other monitor and you like walk around. I think that would work. Yeah. How do you know when you're moving like a Radiant, when you're moving like a Gold? VOD review. VOD review. I'm going to describe criteria for how you should approach each angle, and then you watch your own VOD back. If you're not willing to VOD review yourself, that's fucking tough. Like, it's more about the line you're walking on and less about the keys you're holding. Does that make sense? So I don't really care what keys you're pressing, minus when you're actually like potentially fighting. Then that should be AD strafing, of course. But at this point, when you want to scale, it's more the fact that you need to identify that you want to walk along this line. Because you're unpeaking. Like if this guy was here, notice how you're unswinging the threat as you get closer. You come back out. which is important because you don't want to walk forwards, because if you get peeked while you're walking perpendicular to their peeking line, your head's not moving relative to their screen. Your thing would be A, walk to unpeak. No, that's too slow. So let's say you're talking about doing this. I also see people do this. This is no good because now you would W to scale, and this whole time you're Wing, you're dead. If this guy peeks, you're dead that whole time because you're walking a straight line. Meanwhile, I am doing it this way, which just does both motions in one, and there's no window where they can peek me perpendicular to this path. Because I'm walking along this path, this wall would have to get knocked down for them to peek me on the optimal angle. They'd have to be right here to shoot me straight on. Like here, I need a tier 3 volunteer. It's not just about that. At tier 3 and drag me, and I need you to just start making call outs on bind every like 10 seconds. All right, bet. Go ahead, make a call out.
Showers.
You can change it whenever you want.
Now he's heaven. Coming short. Rotating through your spawn CT.
And like here, this is where people would struggle. I'm not going to walk out towards CT because he's rotating towards spawn. He could come up heaven now. Does that make sense, chat? So like I can't route this way now because the guy could come heaven behind me and break my own chain. So like in this scenario, I'd have to stay here. Like in this exercise. Does that make sense? And this is one of like, this is what people struggle with. Like in their 1v1s, they'll hear CT and they'll like go push towards it, even though there's this timing window. And so I'm here because I'll hear them if they drop from heaven, if they plant B, whatever, on my pass CT. But you get what I'm saying. All right, keep calming. Right now I'm dealing with the CT guy.
Showers. Now he's behind you, heaven. A short. Showers again. Now A short. I can keep going if you want.
Yeah, you get the point. Like, okay, thank you. You get the point. Like, you see how fast I am to react to the call out? To immediately be like, oh, okay. A short. Oh, heaven. Got it. Oh, CT. No problem. Oh, showers. Not an issue. A short. Easy. Like that. And then I'm like immediately honed in on that threat because it's all subconscious. Like I'm not actually thinking about how I would scale towards it. I don't think about it at all because I've practiced it. And that's what I'm trying to like convey to people because to me, like walking diagonally here to unswing this potential peak is intuitive. Like that routing was intuitive to me. So like I didn't have to learn this, which is the problem. Because I found this bit of like the game intuitive, I find it hard to teach. Most of the game I did not find intuitive, but like the idea that walking straight forward here is bad is very obvious to me. Like I don't think about it. I don't think I ever had to. I always walked this way because it makes a lot more sense in my head. You understand? Like it's not just routing that I'm talking about. Like a bad player would walk out of U-Haul here to push towards CT and die to some guy heaven. While better players just going to wait here because you'll hear the guy drop heaven if they're heaven. Different scenarios, one dude's heaven, the other's short. Nah, 1v2s don't fucking matter. You got to understand, if your scenario is a 1v2, you're statistically losing. Like I could not care less what you do in that scenario. That's way too dynamic. Like it depends who's who, what utility you have. Like you probably hunt a 50, but which 50 you'd hunt is very contextual. There's no correct answer. But in the 1v1, it makes a lot of sense to be right here when you know they're CT. It's way more... It's sort of like, you know how in chess, the game is solved when there's like less than 8 pieces on the board? Like we know all of the possible board positions with 8 pieces, and we know the literal best move in all of them because it's like brute forced. Like we were able to calculate all of that. Valorant is similar. Once you get to 1v1, it is simple enough in a lot of scenarios that the right decision is nearly objective.
This guy did it.
Spike down
Nice, good
A.
kill.
Okay, so like here, I just did it. The guy
Close
close, right? So we kill this guy, we kill that guy. And now there are threats that exist. The guy routing back yellow, the guy walking stairs, the guy peeking mid, and the guy flank. Those are like the 4 threats. And so as I peek out here, my teammate's wider than me on yellow, so I'm not worried about that for now. But now I want to scale forwards, and I'm not going to hold W to scale forwards because that's no good. And so I'm going to scale this way, off axis. You see? And then I peek out. You see how I just did it?
One's orange. Dead.
One enemy remaining.
And so now I'm close cover on this guy in this fight. Care flank shot.
I'm pushing up CT for Shiggles.
Here.
I have heal in 15.
Oops. I whiffed.
He has a shield. He's shield. Close right. I don't know what that's called. Sorry.
I'll take a shot. You can peek off me.
Okay.
And here I want to highlight when I tuck into this box, I intentionally, like this is all so important. I'm intentionally not tucking into the corner completely because that's where any hecking dude would spam. After I take my shot, I do not go all the way to the corner. Instead, I go right into the middle. Like everyone's going to spam the corner after they take that contact. You feel? So instead I come into the middle and then re-peek out.
Huge.
And it's like stuff like that. Like those mistakes I see everywhere. Like you'll tuck all the way into the corner, even though it's obvious that that's where you would spam if you were them. Mid sky, care flash. All right, like here. Oh, I forgot I kill ISO. Let's watch that. Try peek fast. We mix it up. Easy kill. I screw up my jump. Okay, now we got to pick there. So nest is pretty clear for the next like 5 seconds. And I see this guy. So like I naturally get close to this corner because this guy's going to peek out and see my dudes. Guy, and I'm going to bait my dudes to kill Sky. So right now as Sky comes out, she sees this dude first. She sees that jet back there. And so notice Sky's not even trying to shoot at me. See? She's trying to shoot at jet. So this kill's fucking free. Like this understanding that when she peeks out, I don't want to be over here and giving her the fight because then I'm the one at risk. I want to be over here and trading my jet because I care about my life more.
Hunting. I don't know what's called.
Yoru's coming out mid doors. And now again, I'm doing it again. Look, I tuck behind this box so this Yoru shoots my dudes. Contact. And now I come out looking for him. And look where he's looking. Not at me. Not at me. Yeah, it's like the mindset. Like I'm visualizing what my enemy sees. Like from my enemy's POV, I'm trying to do what their worst nightmare is. Let's pretend you're Phoenix and you flash out and you peek. What's your worst nightmare? It's that there were 2 dudes playing anti and they double swing you after your flash. But even though that's easy for you to tell me, none of you do this. And it's crazy. I don't understand. Because like, I'll do this. I'll call this. Like it's a Phoenix flash. And like, you know that this is annoying. Like if, like, especially if you're a Phoenix player or a Flash agent player, you know that this is your worst nightmare, but then you never do it. It's like that there's a disconnect. Like this Yoru's worst nightmare is the baiting ass Raze who peeks late to kill him for free. And so that's exactly what I'm doing.
Last player standing.
Yeah, we can talk about the 1v1 too. I think it all makes sense. So this Viper's an idiot. She gives me a kill. She shouldn't have peeked tunnel. But now I take contact with this guy. My movement sucks for me. And I immediately go to route McDonald's. And then I pop ult. Because I feel like Raze players, when they ult, frequently run out. And so this guy's like worried that I'm going to run out. But instead, I'm just going to shift out with my gun. And look where his crosshair is. It's like not even close to right. His crosshair was aimed at the wall. Like it's doing nothing. So I'm peeking top of the wall, thinking you might be holding the dodge rocket. But look what he's peeking. Literally nothing. And so it's like a free kill. It's like a free kill. I don't know how to explain like how to develop this though, you know? Waiting for you to come mid? No, because then he'd be aiming this way. If he was waiting for me to come mid, he'd be standing here looking this way. But he was standing here looking, I shit you not, this way. That's at nothing. Think you say you developed this with game hours? No shit, you developed this with game hours, Steven. Like, I know if you play 10K hours, you'll develop this. Everyone knows that. Like, no shit. I'm wondering if there's a way you can practice this to develop it faster. The answer is almost certainly yes. And so it pisses me off when people are like, nah, I'm just going to play the game. No, that you can definitely develop this faster. There definitely is a way you can focus on this in particular and learn it faster. Like 1,000,000%. It's like a mindset diff, and I don't know how to teach the mindset. And just because I don't know how to teach it doesn't mean it's not teachable. Like, you can't tell me that this dude aiming at the wall is hours diff. You just can't tell me that. It can't be hours diff. He's aiming at the fucking wall. That has to be fixable in a shorter time frame. Because the only reason I kill this dude in the duel so easily. And it's like, this is the game everyone's playing in like a Mortal 2 and up. And everyone below that rank is like completely oblivious to it, you know? And so it's this like huge divide. And the moment you can like visualize yourself in your opponent's shoes, you're this like, you're just a demon and you rank up infinite. So like, how can you learn that faster? I agree there's a minimum threshold of hours required, which I would probably put it around 300, which is why the requirement to get VOD reviewed when you're above gold is 300 hours. The decisions that drive how I move are me like visualizing my enemy though. Like the reason why I won't walk forwards here is because I recognize that my enemy would love for me to do that when they peek out. I never do things that my enemies wouldn't love for me to do. Does that make sense? Or I try not to. If my enemy would want me to do something, I don't do it. That's like the thought process. But that's why like I never had this problem. Like I think about games this way, but it's definitely, this is an advantage I have for sure because I'm Grandmaster StarCraft 2, Challenger League of Legends, Grand Champion Rocket League. Like I've developed this muscle. This is how any game works at a high level. It's always anticipating what your opponent wants to do and doing the thing that they don't want you to do. That's how all competitive things are played at the top level. Grandmaster TFT. Exactly. And like, how do you build an item in TFT? You scout the other 7 dudes and you build the item that all 7 of those guys want you to build the least. Like, oh, 7 AP boards. I'm going to build Dragon's Claw. Oh, nobody has Bramble Vest. I'm going to go Jewel Gauntlet. It's like that muscle of you need to play from the enemy's POV and play against that. It's like that way of thinking. It doesn't come naturally. How do you develop that mindset? That's not a gajillion hours. Because I have a gajillion hours in esports. Not in Valorant, but in esports, I do. I do have effectively a gajillion hours. I think this is specifically targeted at like Diamond Ascendant players, by the way. Like if you're below that rank, you're honestly too bad at the game still. But like people who've got over 300 hours, they're in Diamond, they're in Ascendant, and they don't think this way, it's like their biggest fucking problem by a lot. Oh my God, wait, I've got the perfect example for you. Like it's Fang with his flashes. Like I told him he needs to flash more, but he still doesn't flash well. This guy's on attack breeze. He Phoenix walls here, sort of like this. He walks up and he throws a flash like this. And it's like, why? Because like I'm visualizing where the enemies could be. They could be here. They could be here. They could be here. They could be here. They could be over here. But this area is already cleared. This flash does nothing. So like, why use it? Like flash is a counter to off angles. And then Fang proceeds to use his flash when there's no threat of an off angle. You know when there is a threat of an off angle? Watch. This is all going to click for so many of you. Let's pretend he planted here. And now 5 seconds have passed. Okay. Now flashing right here is fucking broken. We've just planted the bomb. 5 seconds have passed. Do you know why flashing here is broken? Because the enemy is likely walking up into this open space, holding us from an off angle. This is when the flash becomes really powerful. It's because you're thinking about what the enemy's doing. They're scaling up from yellow now that you've planted the bomb, and they're trying to get wide on you to catch you off guard, or they're getting wide over here to catch you off guard. And both times when they're getting wide like this is where the flash punishes hard. Anyways, I'm probably gonna put this into a video, like fuck it, because I like, even if it opens the eyes of like 100 players who realize I just need to think about the game a bit different, I think it's a net positive. In the meantime, I'm gonna try to think of a way to present this in a practicable, tangible way.